Chetan, and with me is my crusty sidekick, Chris.
I be crusty.
Good job. Good job. So, Chris, how do you pay for your comics?
Oh, I don't. Of
Oh, you're a poor artist. That's what you're saying.
course.
Starving artist.
Starving artist.
Yes.
Yeah, the particularly independent comic books do not make money at all. The best advice I give anybody starting out is if you want to be a millionaire making comic books, you can't.
That's, people keep asking how much I make on my books and stuff, and I tell them most of the time I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in making huge profits or whatever. Long as I cover printing cost, I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah. And but that's it's funny because money and how it gets involved is a thing. And I think artists go through one of two things. They either want to be a millionaire or they feel guilty about charging anything for their work.
Yes, yep, very true.
And so I think that you kind of have to find the balance that you're comfortable with when you're making an indie comic about you have to make some money because you have to cover your printing costs because that's what allows you to make the next one.
When I did my comics, I used to use. I'm going back in the last five years or so. I used to use Mixam printing for my comics, and on average, let's say a 100-page trade paperback would cost me maybe $7, $8, $9 to black and white.
Hmm.
Let's say $8 plus shipping. So let's average out $10 a copy.
Okay.
$10 a copy. The advantage on that is it's print on demand. So I don't have to order, minimum 500 or 1,000 copies at a time. That's the advantage of it. Now, disadvantage of it is how much do I print? Because, I don't know how much I'm going to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole episode just about how to sell a comic book, and I think there's
Yes.
a million answers to that. But you you have to account for that when you're doing it. I mean, for Blue Orchid, I do all print on demand, and so I do buy copies, but I buy like 20 or 30 copies.
But there's two different versions of print on demand. We have the standard printer print on demand, like Mixam and other printing companies, Mixam, Kabam, and a couple other companies that do that. But you have to you order your books, pay up front, they ship it to you, then you sell them.
Yeah.
Amazon, and I think the American bookstores, some of them have the same process where you put your book online, put it in their catalog on Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, and say Chris Stewart in Tunisia right now can order a copy. It gets printed in a local region, gets shipped to him. So
Yep.
that's a different print on demand. And the
Yeah.
two advantages or two differences in between that is one, you're paying up front for your books, whatever minimum quantities you want. Well, for Amazon, you're putting zero cost into it unless you want your personal copies.
Yeah. The other thing too about print on demand, like when you're dealing with outside of Amazon and companies like that, is you then have to repay for shipping if anybody orders them through you.
Yes, that's it. That's another one. Now, now there are disadvantages to both sides. Now, the
Yes.
main advantages to Amazon, I would say, is you know there's zero shipping unless let's say on your end, if Chris orders a book, let's say in Dallas, Texas, if they have Amazon Prime, the book is free shipping. They just
Yeah.
pay for the cost of the book. So that's an advantage for an independent publisher. Now, the main key thing for me, which I like, is I'm putting zero money into this with Amazon.
Hmm.
And all I do is get the artwork ready, get the PDF file ready, cover ready, put it on their page, and we have a full episode on the Amazon KDP Publishing. Check it out. Yes, it's a headache, but once you figure it out, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Me, I would say, and shipping wise, not even shipping, sorry, printing wise, it's drastically cheaper. It's one third of the cost I was getting at place printed at other places.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few cheaper places, but most of those are in, you know, interesting countries that have very inexpensive printing.
Now,
But in general, I agree. Amazon's cheap.
Amazon's cheap. Now, the advantage of Amazon is yes, it's cheap. They do shipping. They print it on site wherever nearest to the place you're located at. That's the advantage. Now, disadvantages on it is um, their layout techniques and layout specifications are a little, what Chris was pulling his hair, so that's why he doesn't have that much hair left on his head anymore.
Yeah.
And same here. And that's why my gray hairs are like this. But once you figure out it works, now the other disadvantage is Amazon has, you can't print inside the covers. Now, some artists are like,
Yeah.
I want, I don't want white pages. But you know what? When you're paying one third of the price of other printers, that's something you could overlook. And on the
You know,
back,
there,
sorry,
I was gonna say there's another disadvantage, um,
what is
but I
it?
know you're about to say that the back pages are
Yes,
another.
that's it. Yep. On the
Yeah.
back pages, there's always like maybe average of 2 or 3 blank pages. And
Yeah.
I contacted Amazon and say, nope, that's just how the printing works.
Yeah. There is another disadvantage though that I don't think people think about, but it's important. I think about it all the time because one of my problems is because I live overseas from North America where most of my books are sold. In fact, I don't know if I've ever sold any comic books in the country I've actually lived in at any point in my life. So the problem is there's a bit of sort of disconnection I get from when I do it. Like if somebody buys a comic book and says, "Can I get it signed?" I have to say no.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Can I include a free package of stickers with my comic book? No. Can I do a limited one where it's like, oh, this one's got gold leaf in the cover or something? No.
But again, those are, for personally saying, I've been doing comics for a long time, and it took me years and years, and thankful to Chris for recommending Amazon to me. Now I don't even second guess think about it because now the disadvantages I'm willing to live with because I'm saving so much money printing from Amazon. It's
Yeah.
and also I'm not putting money up front. So, and when I print my books, it could be, I could print, let's say, I'm just taking a guess. Let's say print 100 copies of the last trade paperback. Once it sells out, I'll print another 100. Now, a
Yeah.
true comic book fan will say, well, is that second printing? You know what? Who cares? Just
Yeah. I think
fan thing.
I will say the disadvantage I have about being disconnected, I think you don't have it as much because you will often buy a bunch of copies and sell them at comic shops. And if somebody in Canada really wanted an autographed TikTok Tom, you would order it and sign it and then send it to them.
Yes, yes.
I don't have the ability to do that at all.
No, no. But you know what? But that's a disadvantage. And one thing I will say about Amazon is I could print, whatever, let's say my last book, Maneater. I got Amazon to ship personal copies to me, and you do get a huge discount on that. That's a big advantage also. Amazon does allow you to resell the books. So I'll order the copies, and in that, I'll package them up. I have packages here where oh, it's not here. I have it somewhere. I package the book up with stickers, sketches, and things like that. When I'm at a show or a signing, I'll take them and they'll get, gifts with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Which is a nice touch. It's a nice thing to be able to do.
that's it. And one thing one friend mentioned, the blank pages in the back, he said, you know what? Use them as sketch pages
Yeah.
when you see people and stuff. And honestly, you know what? When I first did my one printing of the book on Amazon, when I was looking through it, I'm looking at the inside cover going, white page here, white page here, and blank pages. I was thinking that I'm not sure about this. Now I don't even think about it.
You know, it goes back, we've talked about this a bunch of times too, where we talk about the main thing is just the story inside. Like
That's
some
it.
of the little details like this are like, does anybody really care that much? I mean,
Now I'm going to show you an example. This is my latest book, Man Eater Yes plugin. This is a 168 page book, black and white, printed on Amazon. And I'm going to show you the blank covers on the back, blank covers here, and the white pages here. Okay, now here's the thing. if I got this printed at a regular printer, this would cost me about $15 a book. Amazon, it's costing me just under $7.
Yeah.
So, and with shipping, if I add in shipping, let's say $9. That's still a huge advantage where if I go to a store, if I order these personally and take them to the stores or take them to signings and stuff like that, I could, I could sell them at a lesser price and, not don't feel guilty that it's, for example, like I said, if I got this printed at one of the other printers, my cover price would be what, 25, $30 for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you have to consider, the- you know, you know, what's going to help you get your book out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part when you actually get into doing indie comics, like when you've gotten past the I've drawn it, I've everything like that, which is the hardest part to get over. But the next hard part is about all you think about is just shoveling it out to people, like get it under people, get people to buy one. Every sale matters. Every one person who gets it matters. And like, it's you often hear this from comic book creators where they say, like every person who bought my book, I'm like so thankful. And you are seriously thankful
And
that
uh,
every person that buys your book, it's like, thank you so much. Like, I can't believe you did that. But it's like, so you want to make it as easy for them as possible because just getting your book, it's not a question of like, oh, well, thanks for the $2 or $3 profit I make for this. It's more like, oh my
yeah,
God, you want to buy my book.
that's
That's
it.
amazing. You just want to,
That was my next thing I was going to mention. It's like for me, if I'm, yes, everyone wants to make profit, make money, and go home happy. But, you also want that person to feel like, you know what, I paid, 168 pages, I paid $30 for this book.
yeah,
You know, it's, and like we had a previous interview with one of the other local indie comic creators, and we were talking about my one book I printed 800 pages and black and white pages, 800 pages. I'm not joking. Amazon cost for me on that was about $19.
it's crazy.
That's crazy because one of the earlier books I did years ago, it was 400 pages, and that cost me almost $25 to print.
Yeah.
And it's all black and
There,
white.
there is one other problem with Amazon, which is sort of the elephant in the room, and that is it's a giant corporation.
But you know what? Honestly, yes, that's why I avoided Amazon for a long time.
Yeah.
But when it came to the point where it was crunch time and I'm like, you know what? These books are costing me this much to print. And the problem of printing for a while was in Canada was you didn't really have that many selection of printers. You
Yeah.
had to get them printed to the US. Then when shipping rates started going crazy, that came into cost of your cover price. So you have to look elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and also when you think about it, Amazon also handles distribution, which is
They
another
do. They do.
horrible thing to deal with,
And
like,
one advantage of Amazon, what Chris said with distribution is, for example, the Man Eater book I just showed, you could have it in different regions. I think only region I'm not happy they're not selling it is in India. They don't have
yeah,
India as one of the regions, which I'm surprised by. I'm Indian, that's why. But you know, they have Japan, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, US. You have a lot of markets and you could specify what cover price you want to sell in each region. So if you want, you know, even in Canada, let's say your book costs $10 to print with Amazon. Amazon suggests you could charge anywhere from $10 to $100 for that book.
yeah.
So Amazon's not dictating, well, you better make a profit. We want a profit, So,
They don't care at all, which
they
is
don't
great.
care. On the other hand, the negative part on that is you look at the cover price and you go, Amazon's taking this much out of it, but you know what? They're covering the printing costs, they're covering shipping, they're covering distribution. Do you really want to go
Yeah,
through that headache?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny. We talked in our previous episode. We talked about different jobs about you do in a comic book, and you asked if there was any of the jobs that if you could get rid of, what would it be? And I bet every indie comic creator, the first thing they'd say is distribution.
Yes, that's it. Distribution and printing.
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
are the two worst jobs for, I mean, the people that do it are amazing, but it's a very specific skill set.
So anyone who's watching this episode, I highly recommend you check out Amazon's KDP printing. Please check it
Yeah,
out because it will save you a lot of headache.
yeah.
I'm speaking for experience for doing a lot of comics, independent comics for years. Chris has done the same thing. You'll save a you save a lot of time, and the main thing is you save a lot of money printing and shipping.
And you save a ton of money up front. Like even if you get the rates that Amazon has for printing, I mean, if it's $7 or if you know you're doing your graphic novel and you know Amazon's charging you $6 or $7 and you have to print 1,000 of them, that's 6 or 7 grand you have to put up front. Like even if you got Amazon's rates at 1,000 copies,
Yes.
you'd still have to put that money up front. Whereas in Amazon, you don't have to
You
put that
don't.
money up
You
front.
don't. And one good thing with Amazon is, and I mentioned this earlier, is you could order your own personal copy at cost,
Yeah,
which is great because that was my one of my biggest worries, saying Amazon's just going to say no, you only sell it on our marketplace and that's it. But no, they give you the option to buy at cost, and you could charge whatever cover price you want. Let's say a book costs $10, you could charge $11, to the person next day and say, you know what, I made $1 profit on this book.
exactly. Well, and you made more than $1 because
No, but that's it, and that's please check it out because as a independent publishers, Chris and I, creators, it saved us a lot of headaches.
did definitely did. And the cool thing is, if you decide, and I've done this, if you branch out into different types of books, like I have an alphabet book that I've done, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yes,
It takes it all. Like there's more than you can do. Or even if you want to write a novel,
and
this
and the great part with Amazon also is there's so many different size formats, and also hardcover, softcover. Um, the sizes I have tried different sizes, and I'm not disappointed.
no, I've done a few formats and all of them work. So
And another thing I will mention to anyone who decides to try this, try the different formats. There's glossy and regular paper. Both formats, I tried the glossy at first and loved it, but when I tried the regular format, it's just a little bit higher quality than newsprint, but it's amazing.
yeah,
And production value is not, it's amazing.
yeah. I've seen comics printed in different places, like different parts of the world. So Blue Orchid from like I think I saw one from Japan and I saw one from Canada, and they looked exactly the same. They were
Really,
printed in
that's
different
that was
places.
my question because I always wondered on that, saying different regions would they have different paper formats?
Same formats and the color and like light and darkness exactly the same
Perfect.
from what I can tell. So you're not. It's not like the one thing you get with the printer. I mean, this is one thing that one of the hardships of dealing with a printer can sometimes be that their printers print at a different value. Like
Yeah.
every print, like there's sort of you can adjust printers to print colors lighter, darker, and it tends to be a challenge.
For
Um,
for independent publishers like us, honestly, I'm not at the point where I've looked at cover or covers in detail to say, hey, that color's off completely. It hasn't been to that point with Amazon yet. You know,
with
even
Amazon, I've never had that problem,
even with some
but
of yeah, independent
but
publishers, yes.
yeah, I've had a few times. Like generally, if I'm doing an indie, like if I'm actually printing a book, like I did like a special version of Blue Orchid, um, and I did that at a print shop that's limited. That's not on Amazon. It's just I printed them all out and I have them all. And that one, I had at least 2 or 3 meetings where they would show me samples and sort of be like, "Is this the color you want? Is this like?" So it tends to be a little bit more labor intensive. I found with Amazon, the color's great. Like, in fact, to some degree, when I got my book printed, I'd already done my first issue of Blue Orchid on Amazon, and I actually brought them the Amazon version. I said, "This is what I want."
And one thing I will say about the Amazon, when you upload your files, it is a hair pulling process in the beginning. After about two books, you get used to it. But the thing is, I did I did a 600-page book, and two mistakes came up. And you know what? It wasn't Amazon's mistake, so it was mine. And you know
Yeah.
what? Amazon noticed the page was shifted this way. And when I looked at my files, yes, it was shifted. And
Yeah.
I'm like, Amazon caught it, and I didn't catch it.
Yeah. The only one I had recently with Amazon that I was sort of like, oh, I don't want to, I like the way it is, but they hate it, was I had a cover of Blue Orchid. I had some text on the cover, and some of the text was obscured, but I kind of wanted it to be obscured,
That's yes.
but they hated it. They would not accept it. And I was like, no, 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 it's okay. And they're like, nope, you got to fix it. And so I was like, okay. So I made it less obscured, and they were
Yes.
fine.
Amazon is really, especially the covers, they're really picky on what, how the cover is. So, but then again, you know what? Something you live with.
Yeah, it wasn't that big a deal. It was an editorial choice, and it didn't ruin the book to me. So
No, and anyone who's watching this has any questions, please contact myself or Chris, and I'll put a link down there for Amazon to KDP printing. Um, so financially, you know what? Nowadays, there's a lot of cost that unexpected cost in printing your comic. Creating
yeah,
the comic's the easy part.
yeah, it
And
can be.
and now especially shipping anywhere outside your country or region, it's expensive now.
Yeah, it's weird. You think we live in the future, it should be cheaper, but
It should be, but it's not. No.
yeah, it's
Okay.
disappointing.
Well, I think this is a great way to end the episode. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay, go create comics.